Tonight, the director of the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, arrived in Israel for briefings with the Israeli security officials. This in the background of an ever more confusing situation taking place in Syria. On one hand, President Obama and the Prime Minister of Turkey have met at the White House today and have pledged to work together to bring about the end of the Assad regime. On the second hand, on the ground, the Assad regime seems to be gaining once again tactically with the help of Hezbollah. On the third hand, there's all this talk about peace conferences and all sorts of related things. This against the background of videos of rebels executing Syrian soldiers, rebels eating the hearts of Syrian soldiers, and on the other hand, confirmation that the Syrians have been using chemical weapons against the rebels. Now, if anyone thinks it's going to be easy to reconcile these sides, give me what they're smoking, because it's not going to be easy at all. The situation is getting even worse. Furthermore, today the Russians have announced that they're going ahead with their arms transfer of sending their most advanced anti-aircraft missiles to Syria, this despite Netanyahu's last-minute visit to try to convince them not to send the weaponry. Netanyahu warned that this could bring the Middle East to the point of war. It's not at all clear what the Russians are thinking, except for the fact they've been the spoilers throughout. If it wasn't for the Russian support of the Syrian regime, that regime would have been over almost 2 years ago. Instead, the Russians have been playing the role of spoiler. And despite whatever the United States or anyone else wants them to do, they have come down on the side of Iran and have been supporting the Syrian regime throughout this conflict. Back here domestically, 2 items have been in the news. Tonight, a large-scale demonstration in Jerusalem between 15 and 20,000 Haredim have taken to the streets opposite the draft office in Jerusalem in a near-violent demonstration demanding an end to the threat of draft. They are saying that it's Chilul Hashem, and they will do everything they can to ignore the orders of the government, of the army, or anyone else. They will not listen. We'll see where that goes, but it's not looking like reconciliation is coming on that front either. Finally, additional discussions, of course, have taken place on the budget. This against the background of the OECD report that came out today, that Israel has the highest poverty rate of any of the OECD countries. Of course, that report is a little misleading, because it reports that Israel has the highest poverty level, higher than Mexico. Of course, the way that report is calculated is it takes the median income, in Israel 6,000 shekels, which works out to a little above $1,500 a month, and then whatever's half that amount of people living below poverty. So if everyone's income in Israel increased by 100-fold tomorrow, the same number of people would be living below poverty. It doesn't mean we don't have a problem, because we certainly do. It's very hard to live on an income of half of $1,500 a year for a family. However, it's not quite as bad as the OECD report implies. What it does show is that the great disparity of income in Israel at the moment, and that's an ongoing problem that has been made worse in the last 10 years, and it's been getting worse and worse each year over that period of time. Anyway, this is Mark Schulman reporting from Tel Aviv. Have a great night.